Yay, witches. Yay.
Kicking up a notch.
Yeah. First of all, this fucker.
Which
That's
one?
all I've got to say. Aetos. Why is Aetos back? Could somebody kill him already? I think I actually
know.
wrote that. Somewhere. Oh yeah, I did, but not for a few pages.
Dane's father is a prick.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not even talking about fucking Dane right now. I'm talking about his daddy. Well,
Dane's like getting a little bit of redemption. I just wish he wouldn't. A lot of people are. It's so funny. Somebody on Facebook was like, it was like an AI photo of Dane from like this book, and they were like, I don't care what you say, I stan Dane. And I commented on it. I was like, ew, no.
no.
And she was like, but why though? Like all of these things and like blah, 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 all that. I was like, first of all, I am done with like men telling me what I can and cannot do with my life. If I want to do something and I'm giving you logical reasons of why it's happening, back the fuck up. You want to support me? You want to help me? Help me with what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that really pisses me off. I was like, you can sit there and say all you want that like Zayden's not a good dude, Zayden's this, Zayden's that. Zayden's got his moments. But I tell you what, right off the bat, Dane with his bullshit really just set the mood for him, for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't do it.
He was done.
I can't do
done
it.
For.
I was like, Zayden's supposed to be the bad dude in this. Like, we all know he had, like, you know, some type of issue, some type of problem. But even when we found out everything, he still supported her.
Yep. Well, I said that on the beginning of this chapter right here. Like, Zayden is like in her head, they're talking in their head, and he's like, you really fucked with the words. And she's like, someone once told me the right way isn't the only way. And he's like, do you have a planned violence? Because right now she's being charged with treason by fucking Aetos. And Zayden's like, do you have a plan? Like, and she's like, yes, I wouldn't be sitting here or no. Did you sign the accord for the right to stay? And then he's like, yes. And then she's like, I would. And then I have a perfect plan. And he lets her go with her plan. Like, he doesn't try to interfere. He doesn't try to save her. He lets her do her thing.
Yeah. Like, he had some issues. A lot of issues last book. For
sure. He's not perfect. No way.
No. And
honestly, the only perfect character in this entire series is dead. Liam. Liam.
Look, I like Riddick. He's second next to best. He's just so... He's not stupid by any means, but he's gullible.
And he's like...
And I think it's so funny because you can fuck with him. Yeah. And he's like the comedic character, and that's what I like.
Yeah. I feel like personality-wise, out of all of the people in this book, Riddick is the one that I would be attracted to.
Yeah.
I would probably also have a thing for Imogen.
Yeah.
But that would be like a toxic thing. It wouldn't be like a healthy relationship thing. Riddick is the one that reminds me personality-wise the most of my other half.
There you go, yeah.
And goofy and fun, but also fiercely loyal and stands on business when he needs to.
Will's probably more like Zayden. He doesn't talk. He's a little mix. He's a mix.
Yeah, because he also likes to like play jokes on you and fuck with you and slap you with cheese and post it on TikTok, so much so that Brittany maybe messaged you to make sure he was still alive.
The only benefit is that Scar got rid of the evidence. But yeah, he's a little mix of like Riddick and Zayden, mainly like Zayden for like the I don't want to talk to anybody.
Honestly,
I got, like, my own thing, like my own agenda.
Funny story. Brittany's probably a little bit of a mix of Riddick and Dane. Not gonna lie. Like the good parts of Dane.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you okay?
Yeah, like the good parts of Dane, like where he's like
Yeah.
loyal and he cut off his dad to help her and like that kind of thing. I think that's probably Brittany, but
Yeah. The loyalty, I can see that, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, this is wild.
Oh,
So
Aetos is out for blood with this
he
too.
is, and he is disappointed because she did commit treason last night, but as of this morning, when they signed the accords, all of the riders and flyers, the riders who left for Orisha, so the Orishan, I just lost the term,
Rebellion.
riot, the Orishan riot, and the flyers were all just pardoned for any crimes up until that morning. So she was pardoned for what she did last night. And it just kind of happened to get looped into this. And Aetos is pissed.
Yeah, because Zayden's part of this group now as the Duke of Tyrandor, and he's sitting there, he goes, there's nothing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's like agreeing with him, and then Aetos is like, absolutely not. He's losing his fucking mind.
And then the queen of Peromio walks in, and it basically is just all over at that point. And this is going to be an alliance, I think. I think that this is going to be a good alliance for Violet because she has impressed this woman, Queen. My mind wants to say Mariah, but I'm sure that's not right.
Marina?
Maria? Queen Maria. I think that this is going to be a good alliance for Violet. And it already is working out for her because she just committed treason so the flyers could stay, and Maria knows that. And Violet's like, it was the right thing to do, and she's like, and you only asked for access to Takaris's library, and she's like, yeah. And she's like, nope, just one that time. Sorry about that. And she's like,
sneezed, so you're good.
you can also have access to my library, which is even better than his. So that's awesome. And then Zayden's like, tell me you didn't do this for me. And she's like, I thought we promised never to lie to each other. You endangered yourself, and I have no regrets. Like, I just love their banter because I feel like it is the same conversation that Brittany and I would be having. Like, okay, pause. Side quest story time. The other day at work, we have some of our families like help each other out and bring the other family's kids to school. So the other day, we have these two kids that always ride with the one family, and they're cousins or something, but, and they like never miss school. So they weren't at school yet. We were like, that's weird. So we called the family that usually brings them to school, and we couldn't get through. Like the phone was off. And so we called the other family, and they were like, what do you mean they're not there? We dropped her off this morning. Immediately went into panic mode, and my brain jumped in my car and was halfway to their house. Mind you, they only speak Spanish. I'm halfway to their house, like, to make sure that they didn't get an accident on the way to school. They're also Hispanic. Make sure that Ice wasn't at their house.
Get them.
Right, like, and if Ice was there, like, then I was going to take the kids. Like, I was doing all of these things. My brain was doing all of the crazy things. And afterwards, I called Brittany, and she's like, I love you, but you just ran into battle with a fucking spatula. Like, what were you going to do if Ice was there? And I was like, I was going to take the kids. They wouldn't have let you
And
take the
they
kids.
speak
They would have
English.
let me take them motherfucking kids. I was taking the damn kids. I don't care.
Right? And they speak English, so you could be yelling at them and they can understand every single fucking word you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Bitches.
Not thankfully, but like, turned out the one dad was just really sick and couldn't drive, so they stayed home. But it was like, and they did. Oh, and their
Where
phone,
are you?
their phone was out of minutes, so they couldn't call the other family to let them know. So like, everyone ended up being okay, but like, I had some Gryffindor energy that day. I jumped in my car and was on my way to their house, like, gonna save the day.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Anyway,
You were literally just hoping some government official was there so that you could just let out all of your anger right then and
all
there.
my rage right on that. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I saw the hidden agenda cooking. I saw
That'd be great.
You're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it today. Today's the day.
Today's the day. Anyway.
Honestly, I feel like I had my own little save the day moment against my tyrannical board president. This dude was just like, he didn't want to be a part of any type of board at all unless the board agreed to give him the president position. He straight up was like, I give it my all and all of these things. This is what I want to do. And it's like, you don't get
I don't know how your board works, but there's no like benefit to being the president. Like,
yeah,
I just have to sign documents. Like, that's it.
Everyone still has to agree. You don't get a say over
I don't
anything.
get to like make any extra decisions or anything.
Like, you are the deciding factor 9 times out of 10. If like the 3 people, so like we got 5 board members, and if like 2 and 2 are against each other, like that final person will get the say. I mean, technically it's supposed to be the board president, but it doesn't happen that way. Like 9 times out of 10, it's like a board president doing all that. And he came up to me and was like, I'm having concerns about our worker. And I was like, our worker? You mean my worker? My worker. That's my subordinate. That's my person, not yours.
Right.
And he is like, yeah, well, I'm having concerns. She's been missing a lot of Mondays. And I was like, to date, she's only missed 3 Mondays, and one of those was a holiday. One of them was planned, and then another one was this past Monday because she hurt her back at home. She's 50-something years old. That's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and she's not. She has PTO. Yeah, well, do you think she's got a drinking problem? Because she misses a lot of like Mondays, and like sometimes she'll leave on Fridays. And I was like, no, that's called extended weekend.
Wow, people are wild.
And I was just like, are you serious? And then I basically told I told her, and then she told me that he went to another board member, and I was like, no, absolutely not. And I told him it was inappropriate. I was like, you cannot do that. And then he's like, oh, well, I gave her cell phone out to another resident because of this, like, one resident. So, like, we had a resident that possibly had, like, a stroke or something. And like, she's 80-something, and she fell and hit her head on the asphalt. Oh. And she's got, like, her entire back of her head was bloody, and, like, she's got, like, a cracked skull, and they don't think she's gonna make it. Somebody was asking what happened, and this fucker gave her phone number out to a resident so that they could call her left and right and ask her what's going on. We don't fucking know. We just know.
And if we did, we couldn't tell you. It's none of your fucking business.
Yeah, like, we just know it's this. Damn. I would like to know so I know what to do next, and I like, and I also care about this resident. Like, I think I would like to know that. And I was like, you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. You're going away for a month on vacation to Florida to your other condo for all of these things. Like, you can't just be doing this to your workers back here. Also, stop making us lift a shit ton of, like, rocks. That's not good for either one of us. Oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, I'm writing this down. And I told my boss.
Yeah. Oh,
and
my
she got the VP involved and HR involved because he's like also trying to get like his his bestie, who like used to be on the board, was like an HR specialist before he retired. He's calling him and was like, "We need to get some HR blah 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 advice," and I was like, "No, we don't. We do
Oh
not."
my gosh.
And then I made a comment about how I really like this person. I think I want to hire her. And I was like, it's funny because her wife applied for, this position, which was like the maintenance tech position. And he goes, "You said you're her wife?" And I was like, "Yeah, her wife." I was like, "This person's wife, the one from Jamaica, applied for this position." "No, I don't want that here. No, I don't want that here." And I was like, "Yes, you don't want what here?"
Yeah, go ahead. Spout your bigotry out loud. Say it with your chest.
No, I don't. No, I don't want that here. No, that'd be too hard. Nope, we're not doing that. And I was like, first of all, you don't get a fucking say.
Right.
It's my
Staff.
workers. So
Yeah.
I was like, there it is.
Yeah.
Got him.
Well, I mean, that's kind of not what's happening in the book, but similar dynamic. We got power hungry Aetos over here.
Yeah, exactly. When I was reading this, I was like getting pissed off because I was like, this is what I'm fighting.
So pissed off. Like, because she's like, "You do your worst, but we both know that I'm beyond your reach, General." And he's like, "Do my worst? I know exactly where to strike in order to bring you to heel. Your siblings may be out of my chain of command, but your friends are not." Okay, Varish, like, what the fuck?
I was gonna say, Varish might have been out of his fucking mind just because he wants to, like, hide things and all of that. This dude is just powered by revenge.
Yeah, like, okay. But,
it is so funny because she just, like, spouts fucking, like, truth at him because she goes, "You can't afford to lose either of my dragons, let alone my signet, and you sure as Mallet can't afford to lose Lieutenant Rierson's, or should I call him the Duke of Tyrandor? Do your worst, but we both know I am now beyond your reach."
Yes. And then he tries to pull this bullshit like, "Well, your friends are," and like, okay.
But
can someone kill him already? And you know what? Like, can it be Dane? I really want Dane to do it.
Oh.
Or Andarna. I just like when Andarna eats people.
I know, I think it's so funny.
I would really like if Dane did it.
Like, I get it. And she's, like, sitting there panicking, like, "Oh, fuck, my squad mates." But here's the thing, like, they all do everything together regardless.
Right.
So, like, whatever punishment he sends on the friends, like, she's gonna have to do it anyways.
Yeah.
And, like, ultimately, yeah, it's, like, he's getting his little revenge because Violet's gotta do it. But, like, okay, I'm spitballing. What if he actually, like, fails at a challenge and, like, passes? And, like, loses that, and Darna's gonna be pissed if she survives. You just lost one of the, like, most powerful dragons in the location known to date. And on top of that, like, Sigale,
the only of her kind.
Well, yeah, if Andarna survives, though. But, like, Taryn, say goodbye to that one. Say goodbye to Sigale. Say goodbye to your fucking shadow wielder over here. Your spy master.
And imagine that something happened to Violet and Xaden. Do you think that any of the marked ones would stay? No. Any of the flyers? No. They would burn your shit to the ground with
You thought you lost
justice.
Your riot? Just wait. Yeah. You're about to lose the rest of it. Like,
yeah.
That's what, like, Varish was just doing it to not necessarily exact revenge. Yeah, there was probably a little revenge here and there. But, like, he was doing it because, like, he would, like, for, like, loyalty to Navarre and the more sadistic way of it. Aetos is just pissed off that Violet got her way when he got sent off because of various things that he was involved with, and now he just wants revenge because he's back and ready for blood. It's like, no.
Yeah.
You're
and that's
gonna
the other thing. Up. I don't know if we said that or not, but he is now the commanding general of Biscayeth. So he took her mom's position, and he now lives in, like, her mom and dad's old quarters and all of this. So, like, Brennan and Violet are both fucking pissed about that too. And then right at the beginning of chapter 9, the little blurb, calling cadets into active service in times of war may only be authorized by the commanding general of Vizcayas. So
I
their
wonder what's
little
gonna happen in this
punishment,
chapter.
yeah, their little fucking punishment is that they are getting sent to Samara, which is currently in a
Like the front
battle.
lines. Yeah, the front
Yeah.
lines.
But I'm dying because they get there and who's the DeGrenzi? Colonel DeGrenzi?
Oh my god, he's funny.
He's like, what do you
They
say?
really gave command to Aetos.
Yeah, and she's like, Marie's like, yes, sir. And he said, and he invoked Article 8 to send me cadets? Yes, sir. Wonderful. Well, his intel is old. Fighting ended yesterday. Even if it hadn't, I'm not apt to send cadets into battle. So basically, he's like, are you fucking for real? First of all, that this guy even got that position. And second of all, that he sent second years out here into battle? I'm not sending you into battle. Go get some
Be
rest
useful.
and find something to do.
I love it because it's like even people on the front line are like fucking Aetos. Ugh.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
And he did this, like, haha, joke's on you, bitch.
Right, like, ugh. And then Violet has a really fucking weird dream.
I bet you that's her signet. Dream walking. Remember in the other book, she had a dream that the whatever wanted the sage wanted her. And it was actually Xaden. Because Xaden's like, no, he's here for me. And like we're all like, what the fuck do you mean he's here for you? Because Violet had that dream.
That would be kind of disappointing if that was it.
Honestly, though, I was like, no. And it's only fresh in my mind because of the other book, Dreamwalking.
Yeah. But in her dream, like, there's a fire and they're at... Are they at Vizcaya or are they at Orisha?
It doesn't say.
Anyway, she's like digging through her...
I wonder if she's having Marin's.
Oh.
I wonder if she's reliving a thing with Marin because they were at 4 poster board things. So I wonder if they were at Volia and Kat saying we have to go to Marin, and Marin's trying to find a picture of her family.
Yeah.
But it wasn't her family, is what Violet said. Violet's like, it wasn't my family.
Oh.
See, there you go. I just cracked the code.
I don't like that. But then she wakes up. And they find out that... Well, they all wake up, and then they find out that there's a village being attacked, and it happens to be where Marin's family is. And they're like, it's not... Traeger's like, so we just leave them to die? Why? Because they're Paromish? And the soldier, the major from Samara, is like, not because they're Paromish, because we can't help. Not all of us wield lightning. If we want to save the towns, the cities, and the denser areas of population, then an unfortunate part of war is knowing we'll lose some of the villages. And then, as this squad does, they decide that they're going to go there and at the very least save Marin's family. Or save as many civilians as possible.
They're going to save Marin's family in the bare minimum.
Yeah. And so they take a vote, and
it's funny because Rhiannon's like, I know this is the right thing to do, but do we think this is smart? Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, all in favor? Every hand goes up, including hers. She sighs. Well, DeGrenzi did tell us to make ourselves useful. Let's go be of use. And that's the end of chapter 9.
And it's like, okay, this better not be like Resin. Like, I swear to God, we better not. like
Right?
lose somebody.
Um, Crazy shit happens in this little lack of a battle, though. Um,
Yeah, there was a lot going on in like such a short amount of time. It was hard to follow.
yeah, and the first thing that always throws me off, I know that Terran is biggest and like most powerful. Why is he so much faster though? Because shouldn't the fact that he's so much bigger make him slower? Because
He might
Violet
just
and Terran are like way ahead of everyone else. I understand them
well,
being ahead of Vandarna and the Flyers because obviously, but like, what about Ree and
I
Riddick and
the way I understood it is that they took off first because she has lightning powers,
okay,
so she is able to like, you know, try to
so like they wanted to get there first.
yeah, so that they could try to like scan out where the civilians are and then like see where the pockets of like Wyvern and Venom are so that they can go lightning wield because I mean that's what they said in the last chapter, like not all of us can lightning wield, so like it makes
Right.
sense.
It does make sense, I guess. But
Other than
they're
that, I think it's just because he is bigger, he has like yeah,
more
he might be
power,
like yeah, like his
like
wings are
more
more
muscles
powerful.
and yeah, his
Yeah.
wings. Um so it starts out like a normal battle, right? Like there are wyvern coming and they found some of the civilians and they've let Andarna, well, Fierge know, and the Griffins and Andarna are going to stop there and get the civilians. But they're flying into a storm,
Tornado.
which is interesting. But they start by killing some of the wyvern. I feel like this storm, because remember, her mom had the power to wield weather, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does this, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but this bitch that we're about to meet who can wield lightning, does her mom wield storms? Is this a natural storm? Or is this a maven or a sage wielding their signet to make this storm?
I think that's it. Now
Yeah.
here's the thing. I don't now the person we're about to meet who like wields the lightning, she could in fact be like a storm wielder and like creating the lightning, all of
Oh,
that
that's
kind of
true. She
stuff.
could be doing all of it.
However, there was a blurb that was mentioned about how it's been thousands of years since we've had a lightning and a shadow wielder at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's been hundreds of years since the last I think it's since the last lightning wielder has been like, shown. I think
Yeah.
that was the last time. What if this person is that like original?
Oh, shit. Like, what if that's like the
Yeah.
original six or something?
Yeah, what if she's a part of the original 6 and she's the one that like went away? Cuz remember like everything is like oh, all 7 dragons except for 1 or all
Yeah.
6 dragons except for the 7th. Like what if that's why they started erasing things?
Oh, shit.
Right? I was like, "Oh, what if this is the like original person?" And then okay, her name's Theophany, I think is how you pronounce it.
I think
Um
so.
but basically they get into a tornado trying to get to my
Okay.
like my part here.
Not just Taryn and Violet though, because
Garrick.
Garrick is all of a sudden fucking here. And my immediate thought was, oh, okay, Zayden couldn't let her do this on her own, so he sent Garrick with her.
Yeah.
I was not entirely correct though.
No. But
She said, "What the fuck is Garrick?" And then tornado.
yeah. So then basically they both get stuck in the tornado, like Taryn gets thrown out of it and then hits the side of like a cliff and then they fall.
The panic,
Um
I panicked.
I know, I was like, oh my god, because everyone's like freaking out. Like Darna's freaking out because she can't reach him. He's not answering Violet. There's no power in between them. Like she can't see
She
it.
can't
And then
find him.
yeah, and then Garrick's I don't know how he's feeling with his dragon, but like basically there's like no communication between either one of them.
How do you say his dragon's name again? It's not
Which one?
Crod. What is it?
Core.
Core.
Core. Is just passed out.
Yeah.
So then Theophany comes around and like she's toying with them, like she's talking to them.
Right, and like this bitch could just touch the ground and drain them in
But
3
she's
seconds flat.
not.
So
Yeah.
why is she not doing that?
Yeah. So there's something else there. Well, and then she made a comment about Berwin. She said something about how you could choose Berwin to be your mentor, but no, he's coming with me kind of thing. So Theophany is essentially talking about another Venin who could be the master of Zayden. But Theophany is like extremely confident that both Zayden and Violet are gonna go with her. So she's like, oh, you wouldn't choose Berwin as your teacher. And I'm sitting here like, Berwin, what if he's the other shadow wielder? I was like in such a panic to find this information. I couldn't, and I didn't want to like look it up in fear of
Spoilers.
getting spoilers. Yeah. But I was trying to flip through the book thinking because there was a blurb about like the two originals and like there was something and I just couldn't find it. And I thought they had said its name, like the names. But like what if that's Theophany and Berwin?
Ooh, I
Like
don't
maybe there's a
know.
power dynamic between the Venin that we haven't been like informed yet.
Yeah. Okay. And now they are out of the tornado, right? And core with that throws me off. That is not how it's spelled.
Think of like Coors Light.
I know, but that's not how it's spelled. It's spelled crad.
Wait, Crad or Coor?
Crad.
Craw. It's Craw.
Craw. Craw. Craw.
Craw. It depends on how it's
So the
spelled. If it's
DH
C,
is just
kind of silent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Craw.
Craw is awake, I think.
Or stirring, one of
Or
those two.
stirring anyway, and Taryn is starting, like she can feel him and he's breathing, so she knows he's alive. So now she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? She's like, you're supposed to, or he says, want to tell me what you're doing here? And he said, they made it. Marin's family, right? That's what Major Safa relayed. That's why I'm here. You're supposed to be with Zayden, 8 hours away. Yeah, well, the second he heard you were charging off into danger, he became unreasonable. And we find out,
Or suspect. It's not confirmed.
we suspect that
he's a distance wielder.
He's a distance wielder, and the Theophany calls him a walker, which
probably because he distant wields.
Yeah. But Theophany's hair is also silver, which I was like,
there's something in between that too.
Is she Violet?
What, from the future?
I mean, maybe. Like, is that her power? I don't know. But no, she had silver hair too. Maybe that's just because of the lightning wielding. Like, I don't know. But, or are they related? Like, I don't know. It just threw me off.
Maybe she is a descendant of, like, one of the original 6.
Could be. And then she calls, she asks, she asks which dragon chose Violet first? The one who gifted you the power of the sky, or the Irid? And so then that's the end of the chapter. So we learn a new name for Andarna's kind, which the Irid, like iridescent, I was assuming, and then later they say that, but that's the end of chapter 11. And then
chapter 10.
or chapter 10. Then we go to chapter 11.
And this is kind of where my, like, I spanned across a couple of chapters. But this is where I was like, oh, is Berwin this? Is Berwin that?
Right? And when she says that, Andarna starts to remember. She's an Irid scorpion tail. And Violet's like, she's here to get you, blah, 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 and she's freaking out, but that doesn't actually ever happen. She just leaves.
Yeah, the wyvern comes and picks her up.
And she leaves. Leaves them alive.
I love Taryn because he's just so old. Like the way he speaks,
Yes.
how he describes things is
I am not deceased.
just so old. And then she like starts crying because she's upset, and she was like, you know, crying happy tears in a way. And he goes, "Do not dehydrate on my account." And it's like, okay,
yes.
And so she's like, "It takes more than weather to fell me. I wish I could say the same about you." And she goes, "Yeah, you're fine."
She's like, all right, fuck you. And then she just straight up asks Garrick, she's like, you have a second signet. And he said, so do you. But we find out. Well, do we find that out right now? No. Never mind. Then she tells him to run before the rest of her squad gets there because she doesn't want them to find out that he has a second signet.
Yeah.
So he leaves.
He heads the fuck out.
And then Tarn, this overprotective, grumpy grandpa, when they fly back to Bisgayeth, instead of taking her to the flight field, he takes her straight to the courtyard, as Tarn does. And Brennan is there, and Zayden is there.
Oh, and Zayden's pissed
Garrick
too.
is there, yeah. Yeah, and Garrick is like trying to defend her. He's like, it's not her fault, blah 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 blah.
And it's funny because Zayden's like, you've already pled her case twice.
And I was like, aww. And then she says, I own my decisions. Well, the fuck aware. I just love him because he even though he's pissed about it, he's like, I fucking know. You're an independent bitch who's gonna do whatever dumb shit you want to do, whether I say to or not.
That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be fucking pissed off.
Right? And then the rest of the squad comes in along with Marin's two little brothers because unfortunately their parents did not make it.
Yeah, Theophany. Is it Theophany? I'm going more Greek for that name.
I think so. Theophany. How else would you say it? Theophany?
Yep. I don't know. There might be some fucking letters that are like not there, but there. Like craw.
Right.
Crad.
Craig.
They wielded weapons against her, and she was like, "Oh, sorry."
And so they died. And then, you know, Aetos comes in, starts
his bullshit.
Yeah. And he's like, you disobeyed a direct order. And Rhiannon says, we were ordered to make ourselves useful and did so. Sir. Our early return was signed off on by Lieutenant Colonel de Grenzy, given that they did not have a mender at the outpost and are already overwhelmed with wounded. Surely you're satisfied now that Cadet Sorengale is wounded. We completed your punishment. And then Riddick goes, and we'll do it again. And again. And
And
again.
again.
And Aetos,
Bitch.
like, flushes. He's like, what? I'm sorry, Cadet. And Violet said, he said we'll do it again. Like, I'm just imagining her getting super ratchet at this point.
Yeah, right?
He said we'll do it again. We make decisions as a squad. We'll take whatever punishment you want to give us as a squad. What we won't do is stand by while civilians die. This is so real right now that it's a little painful. And I think that's partially why reading it, I was getting like I was getting actually pissed.
Yeah.
But
and it's so funny because he's like, what was it? He was like, Riddick ended, not Riddick, Violet said, and before you ask, every single dragon and griffin agreed.
Yeah. And then Brennan, he's like, you have no right to be here, Aesiree. This is a quadrant matter. And Brennan said, it's Sorengale, and even if Article 2, Section 4 of the Biscayeth Code of Conduct didn't allow for Menders to be granted access to all areas of campus, which it does, well, I don't answer to you.
Bitch.
And then Aetos is like, the two little boys, who answers for them? King Tori has refused to open our borders. They'll have to be returned home immediately. And Xaden says, they will be returned home to Tyrandor, as they are now cherished citizens. Since when? Since I said so, bitch. I added the bitch, but I just feel like that's what Xaden would say.
Yeah, and it's funny because he goes, and with the negotiations wrapping up this afternoon, I expect you and Lieutenant Tavis to be joining the Easter Wing as ordered, so there won't be any need to remind you that commissioned officers aren't, Zayden didn't say this, sorry, Aetos said this, aren't readily welcomed within the quadrant, nor encouraged to fraternize with cadets. The leniency you enjoyed this fall will not be extended to next year. And it's like, okay. You do realize that, like, dragons answer to themselves and not to humans. Said Gale will not agree. And that's exactly what Xaden says.
Yeah.
Xaden's like, I doubt Gale will agree. And then he's like, your dragon's always welcome at the Vale. And it's like, yeah, because she would murder you if she wasn't.
Right. Like, your previous or predecessor, Varish, learned that the hard way. Like,
yeah.
But
and it's great because, like, Garrick's just, like, spitting facts, too, about how Xaden is, like, all about the Tyrrish forces now because he is technically the Duke of Tyrandor, and Aetos is like...
Yeah. So I said on that page, because I was getting pissed because he was just finding reasons to be a dick for no reason.
He's so much more annoying than Dane, and no one is on that same level. Like, I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, fuck him, and fuck you, Rebecca Yaros, for putting him there.
Yeah. That's fucking rude. And then they end the chapter with a little makeout session.
Yeah. Yep. That's that. And then it's chapter 12. So they're like having a makeout session. And then I just don't feel like this talk is going the way that Xaden wanted it to. Because he's like, I would have killed anything and anyone in that moment to reach you. No exceptions. I would have channeled every ounce of power beneath my feet without hesitation if it would have landed me at your side.
Maybe don't say that too loud.
Yeah. And she's like, or he's like, I'm well aware that you can handle yourself, and logically I respect your choice. I'm proud of your decision to save Marin's family, but something is broken between here and here, and he points to his head and his heart, and I can't control it. You're on orders to find Darna's kind, and I'm on orders to the front, and I can't even trust myself enough to touch you. She said, you just did. And that's good enough for you? One kiss, no hands, fully closed, that's what you want from me? Like, it just continues on, and like, he's like, she's like, I'm going to find a cure. Like, she's like, you're just proving my fucking point. Like, and I'm just like, this conversation is not going the way you want, Zayden. It's just not. Because she does what she wants.
Yeah. We've already established that. And that's honestly probably why Andarna, I mean, other than like her power or whatever, and a hidden reason why Andarna like channeled her, but I think that's why Taryn ultimately decided her, because he saw the resilience in her and how not I don't want to say like stubborn, but like
But also that she
motivated. Not
yeah,
motivated,
and
but
she not only motivated for herself, but like to protect others.
yeah. And the what is it? Oh, on page 100, when they were talking, like when he was talking about how like terrified he was of like what was going on, he like confirms what he knows after like Violet says something, and as his voice raises, the shadows flee. They don't jump, they just flee.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Huh?
I feel like these tiny little pockets of information. So like he was terrified. Garrick is sitting there saying like, I've never seen him like this before. He's done all of these things. And he's never done it like this. And like the shadows starting to flee and all of that. I wonder if we're seeing like the ever so small transition of Xaden to Venom.
Maybe.
Because he's saying like he couldn't control what was here with his head and here within his heart. And it's like, because that disconnect is breaking. You're logical and your feelings. It's like the slow little whoop. And it just like as the story progresses, like over the next couple of chapters, I see it, like I still see it too. I just think like maybe the Venom is getting more powerful, and his signet is, because the signets kind of go away until like you reach like yeah.
Why did you Snapchat me while we were recording?
Because I can.
I was like, what the
fuck? But anyway, so I think that it's like,
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because his signet's gonna go away as he's like a baby Venom, basically, and then as he gets more powerful in the teachings, then his signets come back.
Yeah.
Or so we think. But I think that's what's happening to him. I think he's becoming more Venom.
That would make sense. And then on page 102, we find out why Garrick has a second signet. Which, question. So, we thought Xaden had a second signet because his dragon was also bonded to his grandfather. And that was the explanation. So does Xaden have 3? Because of the relic?
Probably.
I know not everyone with a relic has a second signet. But
the more powerful ones do.
Yeah, like Garrick has one. Liam could wield ice.
And he was Farsight.
And yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm wondering, like, are we gonna find out at some point that Xaden has a third? Maybe. We'll see.
I wonder what it would be, though. Or if it's gonna be like one of those things that, like, it's not like she planted little pieces of evidence throughout the story. It's just like, bam, it smacks you right in the face.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe he can channel without fully being Venom. I don't know. Doubtful. Sorry.
Yeah, probably not. But, and then fucking Grady. So Professor Grady is the one that they decided is going to go on this, or not professor. Yeah, professor? Yeah. is the one that's going to go on this quest to find Andarna's kind. And he's just not listening to them. And he has no idea where to start. And he, the rider that Violet almost killed earlier because she was like trying to pick a fight with Kat and the Griffin Flyers, he picked her for this team. Okay. Yeah. Great idea, sir. I was just like, I don't like any of this. Like the all of the plans that are happening here, I don't like. And then Violet, because she's so intent on finding a cure, goes to visit Jack fucking Barlow.
Yeah, to get answers about some things she already knows and other things that she just needs confirmed.
Yeah. So she asks him if they can sense each other because she wants to know, like, she wants to gauge if he's going to tell her the truth or not. And they find out that, yes, but they can't sense the mavens or the sages.
So they could be in Basgiath right now.
Yeah, so they could be anywhere, and he would have no idea. And then she's like, do you have to be taught to channel? And he's like, not if you're already experienced with the flow of magic. Because she's worried that, like, the infantry cadets will decide to start channeling. That's not a thing.
They'd have to try, or they'd have to go.
Yeah. And then she asks him if there's a cure, and he's like, cure? I'm not diseased, I'm free, and like the whole thing. So she's like, all right. So she gives him a little bit of like a
medallion that's
imbued. Yeah. So he can like feed, and so he doesn't die. And then which also fuck that. But anyway. Like let him die. I crack up because Jack's like, and what's to keep me from telling your favorite scribe that you've been feeding the enemy? And she's like, hard to talk about something you don't remember. And Imogen wipes his memory. Imogen says that. And then they walk out the staircase, or walk up the staircase out of the dungeons, and there are Rhiannon, Riddick, and Sawyer waiting for them. I just fucking love it.
And Imogen goes, oh, for fuck's sake, can't you do anything by yourselves? And it's like, look.
The squad.
They're a squad. They do everything together. I feel like that's a little much. Like, damn, like
a little.
You gotta go take a shit. Here comes the squad. We're all going together.
And that's the end of chapter 12. Chapter 13, the blurb. I was like, what the fuck? So, upon failure of 3 exams, Justinia Neilwart has been removed from the adept path and stripped of all its responsibilities and sacred privileges as of January 15th. Under protest, I transfer her command to Professor Grady at his over-authoritative request. And that is coming from Markham, who we don't like. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I was like, did Justinia fail because that's the way Markham wanted it to happen, or did she spend too much time with Sawyer?
Well, we find out.
It was in fact Markham.
Yeah. And Justinia's pissed that Sawyer tells them all that.
Oh man, we see Justinia's like little tiny like gremlin side in this, and it's so funny because she's like, because she obviously signs, and so she's like signing like really really fast, and everyone's like, oh shit.
Yeah. And she's like, that wasn't your, what'd she say? That wasn't your secret to tell her. That was not your information to share, she says. Mm-hmm. Because Sawyer says they kicked her out of the adept program, made up some bullshit test that they knew she would fail. Which is just fucking bullshit. Like, fucking Markham and all of them. Just fuck all of them.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm not sorry. Like, don't worry. I literally left on my own with a treasure trove of royal tombs. So no one has, like, they haven't been read in the last 400 years. Look at me suffering.
Yeah, she's like, it's not
I
actually
was,
all that bad.
I was sitting there reading that. I was like, that's such a Brandy thing to say.
It really is.
Books that no one's read for so long. Ugh.
I hate it. I get to be left alone with books. Oh no.
Oh, I don't have to be the main person in this fucking library. Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a very me thing to say. We all know it.
I was
I
like,
would absolutely be a scribe.
it was so funny. But they on 117 they
Ooh, hold on before that.
Oh, okay.
She is talking about information that they need, and how there's only one scribe who might have that answer.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
Rhiannon's like, is it you? Oh no, is it Markham? And she's like, no, it's my father. So they need her father's research notes, which happen to be hidden in the general's quarters. Yay!
And what's funny is the fact that they're so important that her father never felt the need to give them to Markham to publish.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a little bit more behind Daddy Sorengale than we originally thought.
For sure. So now they have to try to get Dane to help them, which Violet seems to think is going to be a difficult task. Everyone else is like, okay. I don't think it's going to be a difficult task either. But now, what were you going to say, 117?
Yeah, on 117, they're in battle brief. So they're talking about like changes to their schedule. So like they're going to be doing like intensive classes in Orisha to practice runes, and then so like they're just explaining a lot of different things about everything. And so they're talking about so they're saying it has now been confirmed by 3 different sources that high-level Venin, we believe Sage and Maven, can and do wield signets. So I feel like Theophany is definitely a Maven. I don't think she's a Sage. I think she's
I think
higher
she's a
up
Maven,
on the.
yeah.
She's probably like the leader of the Venin. Let's be real. If my original theory is correct, then she definitely is.
Yeah.
But
I really like that theory, though. I like it.
The original, yeah. Because it's like, why is it so crazy that she can wield lightning? But so Deborah also tells everybody here that we also find out that because of that, you could be faced up against people like Venin of your own signets, of ones that are higher, like fire against water, and all of that. So the way they're changing things up is they are going to ultimately do what is it? They're ultimately going to change how they're going to do battles. So they're going to do like floor work for hand-to-hand combat for any reason. They're also going to do more signet-based work, so fighting against each other to practice strategy. And then they're going to do like a couple of other things. And they have a new professor. Yay.
They also have a new rule. They're not allowed to kill each other on the mats.
Oh, yeah. They're like, normally this is where you would like settle your grievances, but you're not doing that now because we need everybody.
Which, like, it's about damn time they came to that realization. Like, come on, let's stop killing each other and work together.
It's like, okay, we're working on killing each other. That's ridiculous. But so basically, they find out about this new professor, and Deborah's like, oh, and he just arrived, and everyone's like, the fuck? And it's Xaden. Xaden is the new teacher, and she's freaking out. She goes, Article 8, which haven't they? Oh, Article 8, Section 1. There's a section within Article 8 saying something different. I was gonna say, didn't we already like establish Article 8 as something else? But that's different. Article 8, Section 1 of this guy's code of conduct. Basically, teachers cannot be with cadets.
Mm-hmm.
And
which, duh, like that makes sense.
Okay. And then Zayden's like, oh no, what's wrong? And then she's like, I think our relationship just ended. And it's like, okay, hold up. You're being a little dramatic, first of all. Second, only because of the fact that this is temporary. For the love of God, it's fucking temporary. It's not like forever and always you're gonna be like broken up with. You're literally in the middle of a fucking war.
I wrote a whole paragraph that all of that is about. This is for chapter 14, but it's about like the first page of chapter 14, this situation.
Yeah. And I was just like, it's not permanent. It's temporary. Like, calm down.
So, like, first of all, he's like, absolutely not, at the beginning of chapter 14. Like, and I'm like, first of all, how is he going to get around that? Like, that's part of the code of conduct. Like, how are you going to get around to that? I mean, Xaden gets shit done, but like, this seems like a silly thing to like, a silly hill to die on, especially because you can't touch each other anyways. So, like, publicly, yes, you're broken up for now. It's not that big of a deal. You can't touch each other anyways. Like, he's
like, this is for both of your own good. This is so he doesn't channel from you, and it's so that you don't fucking die.
Yeah.
Like, this is perfect. You wanted him back at campus away from the front end. This is what you get.
Yeah, and then he's like, Kaori thinks we can get an exception. I just have to ask Pancheck. Ain't no way Aetos is gonna let that happen. Like, that was wishful fucking thinking, and I was right. He does not. And so Aetos walks in, and Xaden's like, General Aetos, I'm formally requesting an exemption in regard to Article 8, Section 1 on the grounds that this is a previously existing relationship and the post is temporary. And obviously Aetos is like, denied. I'll obey Melgren's order and give you the position, even though I think there are writers better suited for it. But make no mistake, Grierson, I don't want you here. Pardon or no pardon, title or not, I won't forget that you murdered the vice commandant, which, by the way, was that psycho Varish, okay? In cold blood a few short months ago and ripped this institution apart. Your attachment to Cadet Sorenkale gives me the perfect excuse to kick you off my campus, and I will joyfully take it should you break the code of conduct, Professor. It may be General Melgren's army, but it's my school. Do you understand? And Xaden says, that you're an asshole? Absolutely. And insulting you isn't against the code of conduct. I checked.
It's like, yeah, fuck you, Xaden.
Yeah. Oh my god. Also, what did I say? Then
before she leaves the room, because Dane's gonna walk her back to class.
Yeah.
Before she leaves the room, she goes, the blame isn't solely
just so you know it's about halfway down the page.
Yeah, Xaden didn't kill Varish, I did. And then she like leaves, and Aetos is like pissed off, and then Dane goes, come on, Violet. Like, the blame isn't solely yours. You struck the final blow, but we both know I killed Varish.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but
I'm just like, God damn it. Like, don't try to make me like Dane. I don't like Dane, Rebecca.
Yeah.
I don't want to like Dane. She likes Dane. Because somebody was like, there was an interview she did, and it was like, who is the worst character in Fourth Wing? And somebody yelled Dane, and she said, you shut your mouth. I love Dane. And I was like, yeah. Girl, nobody else likes Dane. Okay. Nobody else fucking likes Dane.
And here's the thing. A lot of people, like the person I was talking to on Facebook, a lot of them like Dane after this book.
Ew. Okay, but I still can't have him being in game. Like that will literally ruin it for me.
I don't think he is in game, although there is supposed to be like 2 more books. But
and then we go into a meeting with Grady and all of the fucking people that he has decided are gonna go.
the quips be quipping during this one. This one's good.
Yeah. I didn't write anything till page 126. But
I basically just really enjoyed the conversation that Zayden did. It's because he walks in and he goes, because obviously they're in that meeting for like the request.
yeah.
And Lieutenant, whatever his name is, this is a closed meeting, and Zayden goes, I forgive you for failing to invite me. And someone goes, we're not taking a separatist. And
Violet says you already are.
yeah, because like Justinia's over here. She's separatist. She left. Like
so
Violet.
did Violet, yeah.
Yeah, like Violet was the one who like initiated it. And Zayden goes, we can waste our time arguing, or we can just agree that Taryn isn't going anywhere without Sigale and move on.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're right though.
And Grady's like, fine.
You and I are gonna have problems.
Yeah, Grady says you and I are gonna have problems because Zayden continues to pull rank basically. Because they want Mira to come with them as a shield for this mission. And instead of, asking Violet, who's her fucking sister, or asking Zayden, who is currently like the Duke of Tirador, okay? Like they are going through these like back channels because they don't want to ask them for help because they don't even want them to go.
Yeah. Here's the thing down at the bottom of 125, though, when he asks that, like, why no shield signets? Clearly we'll both be beyond the wards unless you think there's an entire den hiding within Navarre's borders that the Imperium doesn't know about. And Folly goes, you were able to hide one.
Were we?
Who?
They're talking about the hatching grounds in Arisha.
But he said you were able to hide one.
Yeah,
Foley says
Zayden.
But what did Zayden hide?
The hatching grounds in Arisha.
Oh! I forgot about that. Yeah, it says, thinking the Empyrean wasn't aware for 6 years tells me all I need to know about where your and your dragon's priorities are.
Yeah, so, like, he's basically like, oh, okay, you voted for Trump. It's the same energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just being... They're not going to get along. And honestly, I feel like this may be the group that is chosen for this quest, but I don't feel like this is the group that's going.
Yeah.
At least not in totality. I feel like the squad is coming. Or at least some of them.
I, wonder if Sigale, Taryn, and Andarna will not leave.
Without... Because, Andarna had demands, and they're not being...
And I know she said whatever cost, whatever it takes, and, Taryn is like, okay, fine, whatever, but I feel like it's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
Here's something else, too. They're, at the end of it, Zayden goes, I'd kill for 30 seconds with you. And, Violet's like, yeah, I'd love a hug. And it's like, okay, yeah, you guys never fucking just do that, though.
Right, it's never just a hug.
But Aura stays behind. She goes, yes. I'll just waiting to escort you back to the quadrant. Wouldn't want you getting in trouble or something, doing something I'd have to report to General Aetos, seeing as Grady chose me as your companion and all. It's more like a fucking chaperone.
Yeah.
And then she goes, naturally, we pass that order down through the chain of command. Turns out there are a lot of us happy to make your life as miserable as possible. It's like, all right, Aura.
I literally wrote, oh, I can't wait for this bitch to die.
I know. I was like, I hope she's the next step.
Right?
Bitch.
Unless Amber Mavis this bitch.
Oh my god. Fuck that bitch too. Anyways. So that is the end of chapter 14, thus ending our episode.
Yeah.
We're getting shorter, not necessarily long.
Yeah, no, that wasn't bad. especially considering we went on a pretty lengthy side quest.
Yeah. But it's cool too because the next couple of episodes, knock on wood, should be shorter.
Yeah.
So anyways, until next time.
Bye.